Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Manor Lords is better than Starfield. No, I'm not calling it that. I'm not calling it that. I like to keep the meme alive, but we're not doing that.
This war is far from over.
Manor Lords is a game that I have had on my Steam wishlist for what seems like an eternity. It was hyped to oblivion and back. I remember so many people hailing this game as the best thing since sliced bread. It was going to be a Total War contender, the best strategy game that anyone has ever seen. The hype was real. The hype was way too much hype. Players definitely had their expectations set way too high for what this actually is. Which is basically a much prettier version of a game called Banished from 2014. And I think that's great. For the record, I loved Banished. It was really chill. I have fond memories of that game from the forever ago. But I would absolutely not spend £35 on Banished. We'll go over the good, the bad, and the ugly, though actually kind of, there isn't anything ugly. The game's very pretty. We'll go over the good, the bad, and the beautiful. But the too long didn't read is essentially this. You're buying a demo. The dev has been entirely forward and forthright with this. It is extremely early access. This is not a finished product. And honestly, personally, for £35, it is not worth it unless you accept the fact that you're just supporting the developer. If you're fine with that, then go right ahead. You'll get about 10 hours worth of gameplay before you realize that there's nothing else to do. And that 10 hours is mostly trying to figure out how everything works. It's still fun, I don't regret buying it, but it is one of those situations where I have to think, would I be okay paying for this if I wasn't going to record it? And the answer is no. I'd feel like I'd wasted my money. But that's a decision you have to make as the consumer, whether or not you want to buy a very, very unfinished product to support the devs with the hope and the promise that it will eventually become way better. And that is pretty much what you're paying for. You are paying for the potential of a really good video game 2 years down the line. Because one of two universes exists here, ladies and gentlemen. Either Universe A, this guy takes the money and success that he has gotten on launch, and that is pretty big. He takes the money, he creates a small indie company, and he puts, years of work with help of actual employees rather than just a bunch of contractors that he hired. And he puts the work in and it becomes a really, really good game in like 2 years. Or Universe B, he takes the money and he fucking runs. He gets that bag and he legs it. He just gets the hell out of here. I don't think that's the case at all. I don't think that's going to happen. It just amuses me to think. hey, we've been screwed over before by promising looking concept pieces for video games. But I don't think that's one of these times. We'll come back in a year or two and we'll see how much progress has been made, and maybe I'll eat those words, but we'll see. For now though, ladies and gentlemen, I will go over my opinions. We'll go over the good stuff, the bad stuff, the beautiful stuff, and I'd say the ugly stuff usually, but there is nothing. It's very pretty, which is where it shines, honestly. The looks, just the look of it. The attention to detail is really up there. The ability to go down into third person, to watch your character walk through the streets, to see the town that you built. Very nice, very chill. And that is the dev's vision, as far as he said, is it's more of a village building simulator than it is a Total War game. It's not a Total War game. It absolutely is not a Total War game. Though I do personally hope that he leans more into the combat, because frankly that's on the bad list personally, but we'll touch on that later. It's exceptionally pretty, and the building is really smooth. The system for placing houses and how easy it is to make roads, it really feels natural. I like it. I do like the building aspect to it a lot. I think that's a solid foundation for improving it down the road. But yeah, I'm sitting here thinking, okay, like what else is there? I have to list the good things. What else is there? It's pretty. The building system is really good. I got nothing. I have nothing. Nothing comes to mind. Nothing comes to mind at all. I played this for a total of 25 hours. Admittedly, a lot of that was like getting bored, wandering off, and just leaving it on pause. But like, still, it's really pretty to look at, and the building system's nice. But that's it. It kind of feels like I paid 35 quid for a frickin' tech demo. Seriously, for what this is, my biggest criticism, because I don't find missing features to be a criticism in an early access game. It's very, very early access, so that's not a criticism. My biggest criticism of this is 35 quid. This is not even in any kind of state to be value for money at 35 quid. Absolutely not. That is 100% just you're paying to support the developer, hoping that it goes well. The game has a solid foundation, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed the 10 hours or so I played before I realized that there was nothing else to do, but it's a rather bare bones foundation. It's solid, but it's pretty empty. This is sounding way more negative than I intended it to be going into this video, honestly.
Fuck.
I don't mean to be negative, but I can't list anything else that stands out as fantastic. It looks pretty and the building's nice. It's just Banished 2, but with less features. There's just a lot of stuff missing from the genre that you'd expect to be there, but isn't, which you can chalk up to it being an unfinished product. But it really reveals that the only thing unique about Manor Lords, other than arguably it's pretty, is the combat and the ability to go third person and actually walk around the town, walk around the world. You could run into battle aside your men, even if technically right now the NPCs just basically ignore your existence entirely. It's still really cool to run into battle as your lord. It gives me Mountain Blade vibes, but with city building, because that's what I want from this, and I don't think that's what I'm going to get. Because the combat is really, really boring. You just send your troops in, they smash against each other, and whoever breaks first wins, which just results in, oh, if you flank the enemy, you win. That's it. I can see why it doesn't have cavalry. Even though we saw cavalry in the trailers, I can see why it didn't release with it. Because right now, if you give me horses, I'm just gonna win even easier than I already am, which I don't think is even humanly possible, but it's apparently horsely possible. Because that's the combat. That's it. That's it. You smash into the enemy, you make them rout, that's it. Over and done with. It gets boring very quickly because you can't partake. But, ladies and gentlemen, if you allowed me to play as my lord in the battle and actually go attack and help out my troops, it would make it way more engaging. I'd never get tired of that. Very Mountain Blade vibes, though again, I don't think I'm ever going to get that. I don't think that's what the dev's vision is, but I do think that that is the way that you make Manor Lords unique and stand out in the crowd. Because right now, it doesn't stand out, other than just being pretty. Expanding on this feature would make it stand out in the crowd in a big way, but literally before the game released, the dev made an announcement stating that the game is not what it's been hyped up to be. It's not a Total War competitor, it's not an empire management game or a grand strategy. He also says that it's not an RPG, that it's not Mountain Blade. And perhaps his vision of the game will change once he gets actual people working for him, but I do fear that he's just not interested in any of that and never was. And I hope I'm wrong. I genuinely do hope I'm wrong, because I feel like there's the foundation here for something truly unique. But I am a cynical asshole by trade, ladies and gentlemen. Hope for the best, expect the worst, never be surprised. Going into this video, ladies and gentlemen, trying to be positive, because I don't hate the game. I think it's got the potential to be really good, but I think it's got the potential to be just a really good village building simulator, which is fine, but it teases you with the possibility that it could be so much more and so much more unique. And I just don't know if that's the direction that the developers want to go in. I don't think it is, which is really unfortunate. That's their decision, that's their game, but I feel like the potential is here for it to be something really special. And I hope, despite the fact that I am a cynical asshole and know full well that it's probably not going to happen, I hope that it does become something really, really special. Because I can see it. It's right there. I can almost reach out and touch it. But then my hand gets slapped away and we're told, no, we're a village building game. Fuck you. So in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, I don't recommend buying this in its current state. I recommend leaving it for a year or two, keep an eye on the thing, check it out once there's a lot more features added. Maybe wait for a sale or for the price to drop, because I maintain that 35 quid is a little steep for what you're getting. At least at the moment of recording, merely a week or two after its launch, it is absolutely not value for money at that price. Subject to your own personal opinion, what you do with your money is your business, and it has different value to each of us. But personally, it's my recommendation to wait. Even if the developer's vision for the game doesn't line in with my own hopes and dreams, it'll still potentially be a very, very, very good medieval village simulator thingy in like 2 years, maybe. I would love, personally, for it to become something truly unique, for it to embrace a more engaging combat system, to embrace more of the warfare side of the medieval sim, to embrace the RPG aspects that could be used, to make gameplay way more engaging. Let me ride into battle with my actual lord character. Let me cut down enemies with my sword alongside my men. And if I die, I switch control to the lord's son, who takes his place. Ultimately, it doesn't have to be a really in-depth RPG system. It doesn't have to go full Total War or full Mountain Blade, but just that little something extra to really engage you. I really feel like it needs it. I really feel like it would benefit so much from improvements in these areas. That is what will make it stand out from the crowd. Improve the combat, improve the story, and get the player way more involved in the battles. That's all for now. I came into this video planning on being very positive, and I feel like I ended up criticizing more than I'd intended to, but it comes from a place of really wanting this to succeed. I wish the dev all the best. I genuinely hope that Manor Lords has all of the success in the world. I think there's a solid foundation for something truly great. The opportunity just needs to be seized, grabbed by the proverbial balls. But if not, it's still nice to see Banished 2. Hopefully a lot of the bugs and the kinks are ironed out, a lot of the basic features are added, and ultimately, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the day, and dear developer, if you're watching this, you can at least take solace in the fact that you are still better than Starfield. I lied! The meme's not dead!